Alright everybody, so we are in, so like I said, we, the lovely Mrs. and me, are in Athens, and this is sort of going to be a 24 hours in Athens. Of course right now it's mid-afternoon, but we've been here for a few nights. We're going to kind of jumble up one cohesive day that you can easily do yourself to see Athens and the city and some major highlights, some good food, some cool little markets, and just an overall really good way to get acquainted with the city in 24 hours or so. So come along with us and see what you can do to really explore this very unique, very energetic, historic, but still beautiful and fun city that is, of course, the capital of Greece. Let's go. Any busy 24 hours seeing and experiencing a city like Athens needs to start off with breakfast and some coffee. So let's get some delicious pastries here at Holy Llama with some nice coffee to energize us for our day. Never mind, this is really difficult. Oh my god. You're killing me.
Ready?
Yes. So of course, a must-see that you have to do is to go to a very famous place in Athens, which is on top of a hill. You probably know what I'm referring to, which means you have to walk up some stairs and have an incline to get there first, which is what we're doing. But the walk there is really pretty so far. Really nice street, lots of shops, beautiful colors, flowers, which is what you'll get during this time of year in Athens.
Hey guys.
Hello. It's so loud, so busy, but so cool. After climbing these beautiful stairs leading to what may or may not be the Acropolis, you already get some amazing views of Athens, including sights of the Temple of Hephaestus, and Hephaestus is actually the god of blacksmith and forgery, so it's really cool to see a temple for him, and you can see a lot more from Areopagus Hill here in a second. So that is Areopagus Hill, an area right next to the Acropolis with some great views of Athens and the Acropolis itself, because from the Acropolis, I suspect, would be great views of the city, but of course we want great views of the famous place itself, because it's a place to visit, but it's also a place that's really beautiful to see from the outside, so that's a good place to just hit up while you're in the area. You can also see Lycabettus Hill in the distance, which we'll talk about more later, but now let's enter the Acropolis, the must-see in Athens. It does cost 30 euros, but it is so worth it because there is so much to see here. So one of the cool first sights along the way is the Odeon of Herodes. It's actually an amphitheater built in 160 Common Era and is still used for concerts today. It's really beautiful, historic, but also cool that it has modern function even in the year 2023. So far, which city do you like more, Rome or Athens?
Me?
Yeah. There are many obvious comparisons you can make between Athens and Rome. The main two are that they are old capitals of ancient civilizations that shape the Western world we live in today and have amazing historical sites, such as the Theater of Dionysus, which is actually dedicated to Dionysus, the god of wine and like partying and that sort of thing, so it's cool to relate these sites to the actual Greek gods. But now let's climb Acropolis Hill to see with our own eyes some of the most famous places in all of Greece. Welcome to the Acropolis in Athens, Greece. So it's a little bit windy, might be difficult to hear me, but that's okay because it feels amazing. So we just walked into the Acropolis, the actual top of the hill. It was very busy, but we actually went through a really cool area which is called the Plaka, I think. Could be wrong, Greek is not my strong suit, which it used to be a temple for Athena, who of course is the goddess of wisdom and the namesake of Athens itself. So it's a really cool introduction and way to enter the Acropolis through that very famous, but not the most famous. The most famous is actually behind me, which I'll take more of a look at later. And also back there in the corner, right next to the Propylaia, is the temple of Nike, who of course is the goddess of victory, which hey, hopefully I get a victory in this video and a subscription and a like from you watching. Thank you, Nike. I'll pray to you later. There are many other notable structures and temples on the Acropolis, such as the Erechtheion, which is an asymmetrical temple built in 406 BCE dedicated to Athena and Poseidon and other gods. And of course, there is the most famous temple, and arguably the most famous structure in all of Greece, the Parthenon, which we actually saw for the first time back in Nashville, Tennessee, because they built a full-size replica that would have looked like how it looked back in the old Greek civilization, but it's so beautiful and immense, and it is dedicated to Athena, the goddess of wisdom. Another amazing thing about the Acropolis is you get great views down below of the other areas, including the first Olympic Stadium over in the distance. You can see Hadrian's Arch, you can see the Temple of Olympian Zeus, and the Sanctuary of Dionysus right down below. So it's a really good vantage point to see some other cool areas which you might explore. Probably will explore if you like history and archaeological sites here in Athens. Alright everybody, so here's a top tip for visiting the Acropolis. If you want to avoid the crowds and have a more peaceful entrance, enter through the south slope, via the south side of the Acropolis. That's the entrance. There's like little to no people, or we had to wait in a pretty big line going through the north entrance, which is more popular. You pass through some really pretty steps to get there, but if you're entering the later parts of the day in the busy season, it's definitely going to be busy. It's just a little tip for you. So right behind me is Hadrian's Arch. Looking pretty closely to the Acropolis, you can easily fit it into the same day. And then right behind me, right behind the beautiful Hadrian's Arch, we actually see the grounds for the Temple of Olympian Zeus, which Zeus probably don't need too much of an introduction. He is the father, not father, but like the god of all gods, the strongest god, most powerful god, the god of lightning, the sky. And yeah, there's a lot of scaffolding covering the temple, which is a bit of a bummer, but it's still really cool to see. Maybe definitely worth actually going to see up close. When the scaffolding's removed, you can see it in all its glory. So either way, definitely worth coming to this little area right by the Acropolis while you're here. Another area you should check out after visiting the Acropolis in your day, at least if you're passing through, is the neighborhood of Plaka, which is sort of a little hub near Athens. It's really pretty, lots of nice streets and shops and parks, and beautiful views, of course, of the Acropolis and some other historical areas around you. After a busy morning exploring Acropolis and Plaka, two of the most iconic and must-see areas in Athens, your brain and body will need a bit of a break and some fuel. So let's get some lunch, which I got at Vegan Beats, where I actually tried a mushroom gyro, which was incredibly delicious, and it's a Greek staple, the gyro, and lahmacun, which is actually sort of like a Turkish Middle Eastern infused dish, but that's the cool thing about Greek food, is it is kind of like a mixture of foods from the Ottoman Empire. We then walked around other parts of Athens to see a different side, maybe a little bit more gritty, more filled with graffiti, but definitely lots of character. And you can always see views of the Acropolis in the distance, which makes it a really unique, interesting place. But now we're going to check out probably the most famous square and area in all of Athens, which is Monastiraki Square. There is so much going on, so much commotion and people. There's a Byzantine era church, which you can actually see right in the main square with like a little bit of a clock and viewing tower, right with the Acropolis looming in the distance. It's a great place to do some people watching and soak in the busy but energetic atmosphere that this part of Athens provides, that you can see more of in Monastiraki Flea Market, which is a great place to do some shopping and people watching, which you'll see here in a second. Alright everybody, so we're exploring the Monastiraki flea market, which is really cool. Lots of cool shops, good places to get souvenirs and some goods for cheap. Maybe they're not especially genuine or authentic. That's kind of the fun, is looking around. I love a great market, and this flea market did not disappoint. There are so many cool and interesting shops with some nice decorations and lots of little trinkets that you can bring back as like little tourist gifts to other people, or little things for yourself to decorate or enjoy Greece back at home with you. And of course, because you're in Athens, you're surrounded by history. So these beautiful old historic buildings over here you can check out if you want. These are the Acropolis above and the cool Monastiraki Square to hang out in and take in the atmosphere of really unique, eccentric, eclectic. I almost said Naples, Athens, but it feels like Naples sometimes. With views and streets like this area behind Monastiraki Square just might be my favorite to walk around in Athens. I mean, who doesn't love this freaking adorable cat that we came across? And just look at this train going through the old historical arch. Where else can you see this in the world? There's lots of interesting historical sites that I'm labeling for you on screen that are kind of like in between these streets, and you can visit them if you want to see them up close and personal, but just walking around, you can enjoy them right in front of your own eyes, which I love about Athens, how it's like an open air history museum. But now let's get some dinner at this place, Athens Vegan Burgers. It's right near Monastiraki Square, and they have pretty big burgers for a really good price. I think they actually might be closed, but there's plenty of restaurants to eat in this area by Monastiraki, and it's great for just soaking in the atmosphere and doing some people watching, which is a great thing to do in any city you visit. Athens is so busy, but it's such a pretty area. Look at all these restaurants and flowers. Love it. During, before, or after dinner, you can walk around Iolo Street, which is a beautiful pedestrian street with lots of restaurants and just great vibes. But now you're in for some sweet treats, because I love sweet treats anywhere you go. And Greece has their own version of a donut, which is called lokomares, which is like little tidbits, or timbits I guess you can call them. It's $7.60 for 12, which I guess is a pretty decent deal, and they're tasty. And we also got more Greek desserts at Sugar Killer, which includes lots of different gelatos, and they're incredibly delicious. Very vegan friendly as well. I think all the ice cream here is actually vegan, so really delicious. Pistachio gelato, which is a little bit pricey compared to Italy, and of course baklava, which this is the best baklava I've had in my life, hands down. Now that our bellies are bursting at the seams, remember Lycabettus Hill? This is the place I was mentioning earlier, and it has probably the best sunset view in all of Athens. I mean, just look at this view. Look at the sunset. You can see the whole city. You can see the Acropolis. You can even see the water and ocean in the distance as well, which will cap off what has been a very busy, delicious, action-packed, historical, educational, entertaining 24 hours in Athens, Greece. But there are so many more beautiful views in all of Greece, especially in the Cyclades Greek islands. I visited 5 of them and made individual videos on all of them, so make sure you check them out to see just how beautiful Greece is as a country, and you should definitely combine them as part of your trip to Greece. You know, there's so many islands, but there's different ones for every person and different vibes, so let me know if you're interested in seeing more about each island. And thanks so much for watching, everybody. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.